So, namaste to all. Good evening. Ma'am, ma'am, can you go for the slideshow? Then the screen will be full.
Pardon, sir?
Can you put your PPT in the slideshow mode?
Sure. I hope this is fine, sir.
Yeah, perfect. Fantastic. I think today our registered participant number is 126 and the majority are joining. More than 51 join now. We can keep our time as 7 p.m. As every day's webinar, we are starting with a prayer song. Hopefully, today's participant side also someone unmute and recitate a prayer song. That is a usual proceedings we are following last couple of days. The social studies teacher, math teachers, science teachers, and the general audience teachers from the grade 1 to 8 and physics teachers, everyone done that. I expect someone from the biology teacher's side also voluntarily unmute and say that, sir, I am going to recitate a prayer song. Any 4 lines representing any religious or non-religious one. That is not an issue. Am I correct, ma'am? Ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay for you? So, who is the person among 54 biology teachers going to recitate a prayer song? Dear teachers, please come forward. It's your time.
I'll do that, sir.
Can you introduce yourself, ma'am?
Yes, I am Uttara Agnihotri from Amrita Vidyalayam, Ahmedabad.
That's great. Uttara, ma'am, within 2 minutes, sharp 7:05, we can start the session and with the prayer song. We can wait for another 2 more minutes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, Neelangan sir, can you mute the participants? Someone is unmute mode. Can you mute the participants? So, ma'am, shall we start?
Sure,
Are you
sir.
ready? Neelangan sir, shall we start?
ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ महागणपतये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्।
Thank you, Srimati Uttara Agnigotri from Amrita Vidyalaya for recitating a prayer song for the senior secondary biology teachers webinar session. Thank you very much, ma'am. So, dear participants, dear resource persons, as you know that Central Sahodaya School Conclave, Kottayam and CBSE Schools of Kerala, CSCK, organizing webinar series for secondary and senior secondary teachers in different subjects. Today, with immense pleasure, we are organizing webinar for senior secondary biology teachers. The title is Decoding Sample Question Paper and Marking Scheme. Today is our resource person, Srimati Maya Anil, Vice Principal, Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Kottayam. On behalf of Central Sahodaya School Conclave patrons and team leaders and CCSK team members and all the participants assembled over here, let me welcome today's resource person for the session. Maya ma'am, a hearty welcome to you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. One more word, ma'am. On behalf of Central Sahodaya School Conclave, our patrons, team leaders, our Honorable President of Sahodaya, Srimati Marina Sebastian, Principal, Life Valley International School, Puduppally, Kottayam, our Honorable Secretary of our Central Sahodaya Conclave, Srimati Vinitha G. Nair, Principal, Alpine Public School, Kanjirappally, Kottayam, and our Honorable Treasurer, Mr. M. Neelakandan, Manager, Sri Shankara Vidyalaya, Vaikam, Kottayam, and our technical partner, Insight. Insight is a service provider for the CBSE schools in the field of holistic progress card, report making, ERP software, teachers assistant, and in different platforms. Representing Insight today, the Sachin is with us. Welcome, Sachin, and welcome all the Council of CBSE school patrons and Central Sahodaya patrons to the session. And dear participants, during the session, you can feel to use the chat box for interact with the resource person. Your inputs, your suggestions are always welcome, and your clarification doubts you can feel to ask the Q&A session, which will commence the last part of the webinar series. And if you need e-certificate, we are providing a Google form for e-certification. Every webinar we are giving a e-certification. As you know that Central Sahodaya School Conclave Kottayam is a registered Sahodaya. You can use this certificate for your continuous and development CDP training for the CBSE purpose also. So 25 hours training for the Sahodaya training or CBSE training is mandatory, and total 50 hours training is mandatory, as you know that. In this certificate, you can use for your CDP, Continuous Development Program also. Once again, welcome all. I wish this session will be a fruitful and effective one. Over to you, Maya ma'am. Now you can start your session. I wish you all the best to you also. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. A very good evening to everyone. It's really a pleasure to meet you again for this webinar series. And at the beginning itself, let me thank Ranjit sir and all the members of Sahodaya Conclave Kottayam and all the members of Insight E to provide me an opportunity to be a part of this webinar series. Thank you, everyone. And my greetings to all the biology fraternity online here to be a part of this webinar series. Dear ones, 2 years back, when we think about, we had suddenly experienced a change, right? Struck with a pandemic, COVID-19, our education system all of a sudden changed. And we started online sessions, right? Used digital technologies to teach the students. So our teaching learning process fully changed. And as part of the teaching learning process, our assessment and evaluation system also changed. We had online examinations and evaluations to assess the students' performance. But the 2 years passed by and we are back to school, right? All the teachers and all the students are back to school, back to normal, we should say. So we started again with offline sessions. Our teaching learning process changed to offline sessions, offline teaching methodology, the classroom teaching methodology. And as part of it, the evaluation systems also changed back to classroom evaluations, right? Pen paper test, oral test, experimentations, quizzes, seminars, or whatever be the mode of evaluation, everything started happening again in our classrooms, which we missed for 2 years. So now, when we are back to school and back to our normal teaching methods, children are definitely supposed to write the real system of, they're definitely supposed to face our original system of evaluation by the board, right? That is, our board exam students of 10th and 12th, they have to face the real board examinations of 3 hours. They have to sit for 3 hours. They have to read the question papers carefully. They have to comprehend the questions carefully. And they have to answer perfectly. So that system of examination is back. So we know, like during the past 2 years, we went through a lot of changes. As you know, syllabus reduction was there. Duration of the exam was cut short. Question paper pattern was changed. Everything was to cope up with the 2 years of pandemic. Now, again, when we are back to normal systems of examination, again, there are changes brought in by the CBSE, right? So now we are back to normal. And as part of this normal systems, let's just move into the changes again brought in by the CBSE. So let's see, there is an important circular in that regard, which we have to go through. It's dated, you see, 25/22. And this, I hope it's clear to everyone. See, as per National Education Policy, you can read it, I hope. It has affirmed the need to move.
It's visible, ma'am. You can go ahead. No issue.
Pardon, sir? It's clear, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, there's a need to move from rote to competency-based learning. Okay, and these highlighted areas, the circular is available, see, in the CBSE academic unit. Now you see the highlighted areas are, the board has taken multiple steps towards the implementation of competency-based education in schools. So there are a few circulars already released by the board with regard to it. And based on that, our evaluation method slightly has changed, focusing more weightage or giving more weightage to competency-based education and evaluation. So for the academic year 2022-23, for grades 11 and 12, See, we can see there's a comparison. What was in 2021-22 and what is now. So last year, we know the entire year was divided into 2 terms. And this year, we are coming back to the annual scheme. There's only 1 year and year-end examination. There's an annual examination for 11 and 12. And that annual examination question paper, how will it be designed? There are competency-based questions, which should be at least of 30% of the total questions. We are talking about in terms of percentage. So how many questions are there in our question paper? 30% of it will be competency-based questions. And they'll be in the form of multiple choice questions, MCQs, can be case-based questions, can be source-based questions, integrated questions, like that. There are different types of competency-based questions. And there will be objective type questions, which is of 20%. So this 30% and 20% together makes up 50%. And the remaining 50% will be our short answer type and long answer type questions as per the existing patterns. So this is a change the board has announced. That is from simply rote learning, simply mugging up and writing the exam. From that, the skills of the children will be tested, and nearly 50%, 30% is sure. Sometimes the objective type questions also can test the skills. Anyway, minimum 30% questions will be skill-based questions. Okay, so in that respect, in that regard, let's have a look into our syllabus. What is our this year's syllabus? What does it speak about? What does it tell about? So moving on to the 12th standard syllabus, we can see class 12, 2022, 23, maximum marks 70. 70 marks paper we have. That we used to have always 70 marks. The different units, reproduction has a weightage of 16 marks, genetics and evolution has a weightage of 20 marks, biology and human welfare has a weightage of 12 marks, biotechnology and its application, we have got a weightage of 12 marks again, ecology and environment with 10 marks weightage, thus making up 70 marks. I hope that's clear. Of course, it's clear for all of us. So this weightage for the theory. And how about the practicals? For the practicals, see, we have got one major experiment, one minor experiment, that is 2 and 3. There are 2 minor experiments. Then slide preparations are there, spotting is there, practical record and viva voce is there, investigatory project record and viva are there. See, a major experiment, the one which the children, they have to do is a 5 marks. Minor experiment will be of 4 marks. Slide preparation will be of 5 marks. Spotting will be of 7 marks. Record and viva will be of 4 marks. And then project work, its record work and viva based on that will be of 5 marks, making a total of 30 marks. So in total, we have got 70 plus 30, 100 marks paper. And this is the list of experiments. We have come to understand that there are some changes made from the previous year's experiments. Some of the experiments are deleted. Some of the experiments like spotters are added also. So we have got 5 core experiments, in which the 5th one is a major experiment, and that is isolation of DNA from available plant material. And then there are 2 experiments which can be asked as a minor experiment. One is the study of plant population density by quadrant method, study of plant population frequency by quadrant method. So these 2, any of this can be the minor experiment. And there are 2 slide preparations. One preparation of a temporary amount of pollen germination. The other is preparation of a temporary amount of onion rooting to study mitosis. So thus goes our syllabus for practicals, and these are all the spotters. Okay, so we have got two additions also towards the end. The 10th and the 11th ones are added, which were not in the previous years. Okay, so the syllabus. So then summarizing the syllabus, we have got 3 chapters. Yeah, first unit, under reproduction, we have got 3 chapters. Second unit, genetics and evolution, we have got 3 chapters. And then human welfare, there are only 2 chapters. Again, biotechnology, we have got 2 chapters. Ecology, we have got only 3 chapters. That means some of the chapters are deleted even this year. Which are the chapters deleted, which are not included this year? Chapter 1, reproduction in organism, is no longer needed. Chapter 9, strategies for enhancement in food production, is no longer needed. Chapter 16, the environmental issues are also no longer needed. And chapter 13 and 14, they have got discounts. Chapter 13, organisms and populations, some pages are discarded, like pages from 220 to 226. That's the first part of the chapter, that's now there. Chapter 14, ecosystem, the last part of the chapter, last 2 pages, 2 to 3 pages are not there, like pages 250 to 255 are again discarded. So this is how currently our syllabus is. And the weightage is like this. For reproduction, as we already said, 16 marks to sum up. Genetics and evolution, 20 marks. Biology and human welfare, 12. Biotechnology, 12. And ecosystem, 12. A total of 17 marks, right? Practical to sum up. Major experiment 5, minor experiment. So this is a major experiment, isolation of DNA from plant materials. Minor experiment, study of plant population density or study of population frequency. One of it we have to do, 4 marks. Slide preparation, any one slide, mitosis on onion root tip or pollen germination, 5 marks. And the spotters, any 7 spotters with 7 marks. And the rest for record work, project work and all. Total 30 marks. Okay. And now coming back to assessment. So in our theory examination, like what is said is in a question paper, 50% of the question paper should be of demonstrating knowledge and understanding. 30% should be of analysis. 30% should be of application of knowledge and concepts. And the last 20% should be of analysis, evaluation, and creativity. So that actually goes in par with or match with the Bloom's taxonomy. And now I think we have to move on to sample question paper analysis. I'm pretty sure that all of us must have gone through the sample question papers, and very well we have gone through the questions, the mark distribution, the answer, evaluation points, everything. Now, so let's see. The question paper, the sample question paper is here. How is the sample question paper designed this year? So we have got 5 sections in the sample question paper with 33 questions. 5 sections and 33 questions. And all the questions are compulsory. So a child should really know about this. All these general instructions, children should be very clear about. And section A, how many questions are in section A? There are 16 questions, and each question carries 1 mark. 16 questions of 1 mark. Section B, we have got 5 questions of 2 marks. Section C, we have got 7 questions of 3 marks. And we have got section D this time with 2 case-based questions, each of 4 marks, right? And so we have got one more section, section E, 3 questions of 5 marks each. So this is how slightly varies from the previous years, right? So there are total 5 sections, total 33 questions. Section A, 16 questions with 1 mark. Section B, 5 questions with 2 marks. Section C, 7 questions with 3 marks. Section D, 2 case-based questions of 4 marks. Section E, 3 questions of 5 marks each. There is no overall choice, but we can see in between there are internal choices. Okay, so shall we move on to the first question? What's our first question? It's like an infertile couple was advised to undergo in vitro fertilization by the doctor. Out of the options given below, select the correct stage for transfer to the fallopian tube for successful results. And there are 4 options given. It's actually a very simple question, direct. The answer is as such in the textbook, right? It's a very simple and direct question for the students to score. It is good to begin with such simple and direct questions, which will build up the confidence of the students while they are writing the examination. And what's the answer? B. B is the answer, right? Well, B is the answer. And so, let's see from which chapter, from where the question is. It's actually a question from chapter 4, Reproductive Health. All of us will find the answer in page number 64. Really? Is it in page number 64? Of course it is there. If we take up this chapter, I hope you are able to see the chapter. And if we navigate to page number 64, it is almost towards the last part of the chapter. Page 61, 62 we are reaching. And so here comes 62, 3, 64. Yes, the answer is here. Right, what's our answer? The zygote or early embryo up to 8 blastomeres. It's highlighted there. And so this is the question number 1 from sample paper of this year. Okay, so the answer is a direct answer from the textbook. Okay, so now we will move on to the second question. So shall we move on to the second question? So here, it's a second question. Given below are 4 contraceptive methods and their modes of action. Select the correct match. So this also is a direct question from the textbook, but it spans, different pages. The answer is scattered in different pages. And we know the correct answer, right? What's the correct answer? C. C is the correct answer. That is A3, B4, C2, and D1. Okay, now from which chapter is it? Let's find out from which chapter it is. That is also, we know, it is from Reproductive Health, the same chapter, chapter 4. Where are the answers? The answers are in page number 60, 61, and 62. Is it there? Let's go and check whether they are in page number 60, 61, and 62. Of course, 62, there are lines talking about tubectomy and vasectomy, right? So here, there are references about vasectomy and tubectomy. And again, you see, there are references about pills. And if we move back to the previous page, of course, the condoms. So in fact, the answer to this question lies on these page numbers. A child who very clearly goes through the textbook, very clearly reads the textbook, is sure to answer the question, a simple question. So now we will move on to the third question. Third question is, which of the following amino acid residues will constitute the histone core? Okay, fine. All of us know the answer, right? What's it? The answer is, for third question, A, lysine and arginine, right? Is it a simple question or is it a difficult question? Of course, it's a very simple question. Why? Because the answer is as such in the textbook. So, this is from which chapter? The third question is from Molecular Basis of Inheritance. Answer is directly given in page number 99. Like any doubt, we will check, of course. We'll go for the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance. And which page we have to check? Page number 99. So we are navigating to page number 99. The children actually they have to go from line to line. They have to navigate like this. Every line can be asked as a question. And so here, this is the answer, right? Histones are organized to form a unit of 8 molecules. Above that, there is a line. Histones are rich. And the basic amino acid residues, lysine and arginine. So it's a very direct question from the textbook. So sample paper 2023, question number 3, directly from text. Okay, we will move on to the next question. Right. Hope it's clear to everybody. Is it possible for you to see and grasp? Is it possible for you to comprehend textbook? I hope it's okay. And the fourth question, we'll move on to the question number 4. What's it? One more question again. Evolutionary convergence is development of what? Like 4 options are there. And of course, what's the answer? Convergence. So the answer is a common set of characters in groups of different ancestry. Option A is the correct answer. Convergence is always like that, right? Different groups, different species living in different areas converge to a common place so that they develop common characteristics. And is it a difficult question? Of course, no. It's an easy question. Why? Because that is also directly from the textbook. So question number 4, evolution, is there on page number 131. There is no doubt. It is on page number 131. If you have any doubt, let's have a look. Evolution and page number 131. Okay, so where is page number 131? Let's have a quick migration to page number 131. So here comes it, 30 and so 31. So the first line itself, right? It talks about convergent evolution with example. So from here, okay, actually it starts from the previous page. The first line of this line is in the previous page. So here the answer lies. So question number 4 is quite direct. Okay, one more question. It's very easy. If a child again, and if a child reads through every line, and this convergent evolution, divergent evolution, homologous organs, analogous organs are all frequently asked areas, the child has to really focus on it. Okay, so now it's time for us to move on to the next question. 5th question, Apis mellifera are killer bees possessing toxic bee venom. Identify the treatment and the type of immunity developed from the given table to treat a person against the venom of this bee. Well, any problem? Not much of a problem, because it is in the textbook. Only thing is that the organism, the animal species is different, but the word venom is quite there. So let's have where the answer is, from which chapter the answer is. Question number 5 is actually from the chapter Human Health and Diseases. Okay, and page number 152. If we quickly move on to 152 of Human Health and Diseases. Okay, so here it goes. Let's find out 152. So it's a page finding out game for us. And this is a way actually biology has to be done by the students. For biology, mostly the questions will be confined to the textbook, and the child has to literally by heart every line. And then if they know each and every line, definitely they'll get full marks, no doubt. So here comes page 152. Yeah, we are into it. Question number 5. Here there's a line, you see, even in cases of snake bites, the injection which is given to the patients contain preformed antibodies, and it is what? Passive immunization. So it's against snake venom. So the child has to be careful here. In the question paper, it is about a bee, and here it is about snake. But the child who is very clear about the concept, the child has to focus on word venom. And so all this treatment, in all cases of treatments against venom, whatever be the venom, it can be scorpion venom, or it can be bee venom, or it can be snake venom, or whatever it is a preformed antibodies given, and the kind of immunity is passive immunization. So the answer is actually from the textbook. Okay, so we will move on to the next question. So the next question is question number 6. interferons are the most effective in making non-infected cells resistant against the spread of which the following diseases in humans. So there are few diseases given like ascariasis, ringworm, amoebiasis, and AIDS. Okay, and difficult question? Not at all difficult question because they have to just connect something. And what is it? Question number 6. Okay, from which chapter it is? Oh, it's from the same chapter, right? So question number 6. So here comes question number 6. That's from Human Health and Diseases. And where is the answer? Page number 151 has the answer. Okay. So let's move on to page number 151. It will move one page back, right? Here is page number 151. And where is the answer? You see? Here, sample paper 2023, question number 6, the answer lies. Virus-infected cells secrete proteins called interferons, which protect non-infected cells from further viral infections. So, of course, interferons are produced by a cell which is infected with virus. And so, one thing the child has to analyze is there are 4 options given, and then which is a viral infection, only that. So that's what they have to link like that. Ascariasis, not a viral infection. Ringworm, not a viral infection. Amoebiasis, not a viral infection, but AIDS as a viral infection. There goes the answer as AIDS, right? And so we will move on to the next question. So not a very difficult question, but there's a moment to think, of course. 7th question. Which of the following water samples in the table given below will have a higher concentration of organic matter? So there's a table given. There's water samples like A, B, C, D. Level of pollution is shown there. Value of BOD. BOD range is also given, like value, high, high, low, 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 high, high, low. And so what's the answer? For 7th question, A is the answer. Level of pollution high. And when level of pollution is high, of course, BOD goes high, right? Okay, 7th question. From which chapter it is? Let's find out. We got so many chapters, and our 7th question is from a chapter, Microbes in Human Welfare. Well, where's the chapter and which page in that we'll go through? Is that answer given in the textbook or is it something from outside? I don't think it's from outside. See question number 7, Microbes in Human Welfare, page number 184, we have to migrate, 184. So shall we go? Page number 184, let's move on the trip, Microbes in Human Welfare. And so here goes the chapter. And there is page number 184. Soon we will reach. We've reached up to 180, right? 81. 82. And 84 we have reached. This last line of the paragraph, you see, the greater the BOD of the wastewater, more is its polluting potential. So actually what? Indirectly, BOD is a measure of the organic matter present in the water. Okay, is that clear? Understood? So when water is polluted, we know it has got lots of organic matter. Organic content is a lot of organic matter is there, right? And then a lot of aerobic bacteria will be there, consuming a lot of oxygen. Demand for oxygen is high. So whenever there is wastewater, organic matter level will be high. And what? BOD also will be high, right? Okay, so here is the answer. It's actually within the textbook. Carefully read and understand and apply it. Fine, things are easy. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. After question 7, normally it should be question 8, right? Here comes a question. The figure below shows the structure of a plasmid. Okay, this is the structure of the plasmid, PBR322. A foreign DNA was ligated at BAM-H1 and the transformants were then grown in a medium containing antibiotics, tetracycline and ampicillin. Choose the correct observation of the growth of bacterial colonies from the table. So the bacterial colonies are grown in 2 medium, right? medium with tetracycline, medium with ampicillin. So how are the bacterial colonies growing after inserting a foreign DNA? That's a question, right? And so what is the answer? Already we know from the marking scheme, the answer is B, no growth, growth. Okay, so that's it. Now, is it something indirect? Is it a difficult question? From which chapter is it? Let's find out. Question number 8. From which chapter it is framed? Okay, let's move on to question number 8. Oh, it's from chapter 11, Biotechnology, Principles and Processes. And the answer is there in page number 199. Let's look whether the answer is in page number 199. Okay, here comes Biotechnology, Principles and Processes. Let's check out whether our students, by reading the textbook, will get such answers. Okay, so here, where are we supposed to navigate? We are supposed to navigate to page number 199, right? I think I'm not wrong. Page number 199. Are we reaching 199? 197 now. 198 now. And here comes 199. The same figure is there. And here you see it's mentioned. The same thing is in the textbook. Very direct question. Look at the line. The recombinants will grow in ampicillin containing medium, but not on that containing tetracycline. If a child studies the textbook very well, what else is needed? The answer is directly in the textbook. Okay. So that answer is quite an easy and direct one. Thing is that the students should know the text very well. So then we will move on to the next question. What's our next question? Let's find out our next question. So we have completed 8 questions and moving on to 9th question. Okay, what's it? Swati was growing a bacterial colony in a culture flask under ideal laboratory conditions where the resources are replenished. Which of the following equations will represent the growth in this case? Now, population size is N, birth rate is B, death rate is D, unit time period is T, carrying capacity is K, all that is given. Okay, how to find out the answer? There's a clue in the question. What is a clue? Where the resources are replenished. That is a clue. Okay, and they study about different types of growth curves and all, where this is very clearly mentioned in the textbook. What happens to a population when resources are replenished? Like we'll see, question number 9, from which chapter it is framed? We should know now from which chapter it is framed. So question number 9 is from chapter 13, Organisms and Populations. Organisms and Populations. And is the answer in the textbook? Let's check out the page number 230. Shall we move on to 230? So, organisms and populations, with all your permission, we will move on to page number 230 and find out whether the answer is there or we have to bring in ready-made answers. So here comes, see, the first part of this chapter is deleted. So all these parts that is not there for the examination, almost half of the chapter is deleted, right? And it starts from populations only. So here it is. We are moving on to page number 225. We have reached 226, 227, 29, and here it is here, right? Here is an equation, dN by dt is equal to Rn, which is our correct answer, right? So B, that's a correct answer in this question. dN by dt is equal to Rn. There it is written. It is about exponential growth. The paragraph begins with the sentence, resource, food and space availability is obviously essential for unimpeded growth of a population. Ideally, when resources in the habitat are unlimited. That is given as a clue in the question, right? So if a child is very keen on such words and lines, of course, immediately they'll link. Okay, that's it. So it's exponential growth. And so here, this is the equation. This is the correct answer. They'll find out. Okay, so that's our correct answer is B. dN by dt is equal to Rn. There is no question of carrying capacity here. So they can exclude all those options. Now, question number 10. We'll move on, right? Sea anemone gets attached to the surface of the hermit crab. The kind of population interaction exhibited in this case is amensalism, commensalism, mutualism, parasitism. From which chapter it is? Question number 10. Let's have a look. Question number 10. Of course, it's from the same chapter, Organisms and Population. Is there any answer in the textbook? That we have to find out whether such an answer is in the textbook. For what, we have to actually move on to page number 236, where commensalism is mentioned, right? So shall we move on to the chapter? Commensalism is mentioned, right? So it's page number 236, So 2-3 more pages down, when we move, we will come to the page 236. So we are into 236, we are navigating. Well, we have crossed 235 and into 236. Yeah, here it is, commensalism. But I don't think that example is in the paragraph, but here is the child who has to understand the concept clearly. Some examples are mentioned here, like the cattle egret, okay, and the cattle and the egret, like, such examples are there. So they have to really understand the concept of commensalism, where one is benefited when there is interaction between two species. One is, of course, benefited, the other doesn't know about what is happening, right? Okay, that's it. I don't know, like, what is happening. I'm not doing anything. He is not aware, not at all aware of what is happening. Neither affected, neither benefited, nor harmed, like that. One species is totally not aware of what is happening while the other species is benefited. So there are lots of examples given in the paragraph. They have to connect these examples with what is given in the textbook, in the question paper. And then, so there is a little bit of application there, connection there, linking there. Then the child will be able to write the answer as commensalism. Okay. And then we'll move on to the next question. What's the next question? Of course, question number 11. Which of the following food chains is a major conduit for energy flow in terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems respectively? Anything difficult, There is terrestrial ecosystem given, aquatic ecosystem given, and 4 options are also given. Which is the correct option? We have to find out. Okay, question number 11. What's the correct answer? Option C is the correct answer, like detritus in terrestrial ecosystem and grazing in aquatic ecosystem. From which chapter is probably the question number 11. Let's find out from which chapter it is. Question number 11 is, of course, from chapter 14, ecosystem. Is it in the textbook as such? Of course, it is in the textbook as such. Let's check, which page it is. Actually, ecosystem, if we open the page 246, which page? 246, page number, you will see the same line there. That's it. Okay. So let's move on. Ecosystem. Okay, let's find out whether the line is there as such, or we are simply joking that the line is there. No, we'll find out the lines, right? Page number 246. Here also some pages. This chapter also has got deleted content. The last few pages are deleted, as I said. Here we have reached page number 246. And here you see, there's a line as such. In aquatic ecosystem, GFC, grazing food chain, is a major conduit for energy flow. As against this, in a terrestrial ecosystem, as much larger fraction of energy flows through the detritus food chain. Well and good. Again, if a child is so careful and keen in reading the textbook every line, the answer is his or hers. Okay, so, and the next question, we'll move on to question number 12. What's it? Which of the following is an example for ex situ conservation? Okay, question number 12. There are 4 options like sacred groves, national park, biosphere reserve, and seed bank. Of course, we know the answer very well. The seed bank, we know. Is it possible for the children to know? Is it something difficult? Not at all. Why? Let's check out from which chapter the question is framed. It's question number 12. And question number 12 is from biodiversity and conservation. Okay, is it there? As such, the line is there in the textbook, page number 267. If you take up quite an easy question for students to know which page, which chapter biodiversity and conservation, page number 267. Shall we check it out? Biodiversity and conservation. So here we go. That is almost toward the end of the chapter, right? So let's check whether such a line is there. Biodiversity and conservation has got such a line about seed bank as part of ex situ conservation. It's page 246. Sorry, 267. 265 we have crossed. And 260. Yes. Here comes. What is it? The heading is ex situ conservation. And here is a line. Seeds of different genetic strains of commercially important plants can be kept for long periods in seed banks. Very clearly stated. You see, in many examinations, we can see the board usually picks up the last lines. Nook and corner of the textbook they pick up to test the students whether they have completely mastered the NCERT textbook. You know, in many questions, we can see the last lines of the paragraphs are really tested. And a student who sometimes, you know, they can be, this is the end of the chapter, the last two paragraphs, they can take it casual. Oh, this is something general. And if they don't read, or if they simply read and don't learn very well, they may not get it. So by heart learning understanding and learning every line, they should be thorough with each and every line of the chapter to score very good marks. Of course, they'll score very good marks in it. Okay, so here our 12th question is over. Here comes the next set of questions in section A itself. What's the specialty there? Question number 13 to 16 consists of two statements, assertion and reason. So now the next four questions, like question number 13, 14, 15, and 16 are assertion reason type questions. Okay, so there will be, of course, four options. Which are they? Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of E. Okay, both A and R are true, and R is not the correct explanation of A. A is true, R is false. A is false, R is true. The child should be a careful reader. He should be reading very well. One word will make a difference, big difference. So I think after the pandemic, the reading habits of the children has become a bit, little bit lower when we compare to the other batches. And so this has to improve. Careful reading and comprehension of the question, decoding the question is very important for the student. So here is the 13th question. Assertion. Apomictic embryos are generally identical to the parent plant. This is assertive statement. Reason is given. Apomixis is the production of seeds without fertilization. Okay, and what is the answer for 13? The first option is the answer. That is both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Well, actually, is it a difficult question for the student? In fact, from which chapter is it? If we, go through the textbook, we can understand. Question number 13.
Excuse me, ma'am. Gigi, miss, please mute your audio, ma'am. Gigi, ma'am, please mute your audio.
Pardon?
Gigi, miss, please mute your audio. Neelakantan sir, kindly mute the participants, please. It makes so much disturbance.
Can I continue?
Gigi, miss, can you mute the audio? Hello.
Hello, can I continue, sir?
You can continue, ma'am. But the participants are talking. It's a disturbance to others. That's right.
Okay. Well, so we will continue because, we have to move faster. Lots of questions are remaining and time is running out like anything, right? So to complete 33 questions within a short span of time is a task for us. So here comes question number 13, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Okay. So there. Okay, question number 13 is from chapter 2, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. The answer is in page number 38, I bet. Where is the answer? Page number 38. Okay, so let's have a check. Okay, so sexual reproduction in flowering plants, we're checking it and we're moving on to page number 38. Okay. So here, though this is the second chapter in the textbook, we know this is our first chapter this year, right? So we have to navigate very carefully. This chapter has a lot of diagrams and it takes time to load. We are reaching close by. It is again towards the end of the chapter. So we are almost reaching there. And so we know, like, you see, as per the question, we know apomixis, that is actually formation of seed without fertilization. One second. It's a bit time consuming. Okay, so we will, the loading part is a bit slow here for this chapter. So like when we use our textbook, we can see it's in page number 38. There is a paragraph on apomixis and polyembryony, right? There lies the answers. So I think it is having a bit of trouble in loading this chapter. 32, and it's a bit slow. 33, 34, 35, 36. I'm learning counting. 37, and there we are, apomixis. So here, based on this line is the answer, right? So seeds forming without fertilization, that's apomixis. And of course, it's what? A kind of asexual reproduction, right? So that is why it's genetically very similar to the parent plants, right? So the answer we got, it's actually from the textbook only. We'll move on to the next question, question number 14. What's it? The assertive statement, when white-eyed, yellow-bodied Drosophila females were hybridized with red-eyed, brown-bodied males, and if an progeny was intercrossed, the F2 ratio deviated from 9:3:3:1. Yeah, the typical dihybrid F2 ratio is 9:3:3:1, we know, but there is a deviation. And what's the reason? When two genes in a dihybrid are on the same chromosome, the proportion of the parental gene combinations is much higher than the non-parental type. Okay. And for question number 14, what's the correct answer? Again, A is the correct option. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Well, is it answer in the textbook? Of course, we can see. From which chapter is it framed? Let's check. It's actually framed. That's question number 14, right? So we're moving on to the next slide. Question number 14 is from chapter 5, Principles of Inheritance and Variation. Page number 83 has got the answer. Really? Page number 83 is having the answer? Oh, let's have a look. Whether it is a text-oriented one, Principles of Inheritance and Variation, we will verify now. Okay. And so here, we'll move on to what? Page number 83. So here goes page number 70, 71. Come on, we'll move faster. So we are almost moving to the answer where '79 and '80 and '81 and '82 and '83. Here we are almost So here, the question is framed from this page only. Question number 14 is from here, right? That example as such is given in the textbook. T.H. Morgan, Thomas Hunt Morgan's, Krauss experiment on this Drosophila melanogaster. That experiment as such, that statement is as such from the textbook. And the reason is listed here, the linkage. All that is actually from the textbook. So a child who is focusing the textbook will be able to write the answer without much trouble. So then we will move on to the next question, question number 15. Well, functional ADAC-DNA genes must be inserted in the lymphocytes at the early embryonic stage. Cells in the embryonic stage are mortal, differentiated, and easy to manipulate. Okay, question number 15, what's the correct answer? A is true. The first sentence is true, correct. But what about the second statement? R is false. So option C is the correct answer. Why is R false? Cells in the embryonic stage are mortal, it is said. Actually, if we consider an embryo, virtually it is immortal because one cell divides into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8, 8 into 16, like that. We cannot see death of a cell there. And the embryonic cells are not differentiated, they are undifferentiated. Right. So the second second sentence is a bit tricky. They have to be very careful. And from which chapter is this? Chapter, question number 15 is from, let's find out from which chapter. Question number 15 is from chapter Biotechnology and its Applications. Page 211 is the area from where the question is framed. Is it so? Let's have a look. Page 211, whether it has got that area. So applications in biotechnology, a very interesting chapter for students to study. Page 211, we have to move on. So we're moving faster this time. This chapter is a short chapter with less of diagrams. Maybe that is why it's getting loaded faster. So page number 211. So here is the answer. Yeah. Sample question paper, UC 2023, question number 15 is from here. This talks about the gene therapy and the ADA deficiency and the genetically engineered lymphocytes. And when the therapy should be done, all the details are in the chapter. And again, you see from first line to the last line, the child has to study very well. The child will be able to apply what he has studied and he'll be able to find out the correct answer without much trouble. So question number 15 is okay. Question number 16, that's the last question from section A. Given below is the age pyramid of population in one of the states in India as per 2011 census. It depicts the male population on the left-hand side, female population on the right-hand side, newborns towards the base and gradually increasing age groups as we move from base to the top, with the oldest population at the top. Study the pyramid and comment upon the appropriateness of the assertion and the reason. Difficult question when we see figure and all? Not at all. Well, question number 16, from where is it? From which chapter? Okay, let's find out from which chapter it is. Question number 15, the board has framed from chapter number 13, organisms and population. Page number 227 has directly there, right? 227. Let's have a look. What's the chapter? Question number 16 is from organisms and populations. Check it out, whether it is there. Organisms and population has such a graph. Okay, here we are moving on to page number 227. Here goes. Of course, the first part is unwanted again, right? Oh, we are very close to it. 227, 226, and here, of course, the answer is here, right? Question number 16, the last question of section A. See, here it is done. Age pyramids in human population are of three types: expanding, stable, and declining. What is meant by a stable pyramid is, of course, explained here. When we teach, we very well explain it. And so, if the child has studied, of course, these lines, the child has got the concept. And if he has gone through this diagram, this image of the stable pyramid very well, it's very easy for the child to answer. So we have completed section A and moving on to section B successfully. Like, what comes in section B? 5 questions of 2 marks, right? So here, question number 17. There's a graphical representation And looking at the graph, anybody can tell this is from which chapter? Human reproduction. So, let's find out. Question number 17 is from chapter 3, human reproduction. The graph as such is in page number 50 and 51. Okay, so just have a glance on it. Human reproduction. So here comes the chapter. Where is it? Page number 50 and 51. You will get the answers. Okay, so we are close to it. The answer is here. Okay, it's taking some time. So, yeah, 50. The page is here. So here is a graph. And the child has to study the graph very well. There is no doubt. And you know, the answer, the lines in the answer, changes in the uterine endometrium, that is also there. So the answer is very clear from page number 50. And 51 also has, you know, during that period, what happens, maintenance of endometrium, regeneration and proliferation of endometrium, everything is there. And so that's the answer. And therefore the answer key, see, half mark is for pituitary gland, half mark is for ovary, and the child should know how the split marking will be. Total of half plus 1, total of 2 marks the child is getting by answering the question properly. And so we will move on to question number 18 now. So where is our question number 18? So after question number 18, so 17th question is not a difficult question at all. It's an easy question. If they interpret the graph, like, you know, they should know A is from pituitary gland, FSH and LH, and B is from ovary. So if they know the source, it's very easy. In the textbook, the same graph is given. They have to learn the graph very well. Question number 18, it's about a true breeding plant, homozygous dominant for inflated green pods, as crossed with another pea plant with constricted yellow pods. So this cross is actually a typical dihybrid cross, right? And we have to find out up to F1 generation. And so there, this question, that is question number 18, is from which chapter? Question number 18 is from 5th chapter, Principles of Inheritance and Variation. That's a chapter. And is that question as such in the textbook? Really doubt, right? But very similar question is in the textbook, like question number 18. If we go to page number 79 and we make the children do a lot of similar crosses also, they should be thorough with the crosses. Page number 79, if we go and pick up, we'll get the very similar cross, but there is a slight difference in the example mentioned. They should be, the cross in the textbook is about a seed, but here it's about a pod. That difference, they should be very, very careful. So let's have a look. Page number, Principles of Inheritance and Variation. 18th question, we will just go and find out whether similar case is in page number 79. So here is the chapter coming up. Page number 79, we have to move back. Yeah, this is a very similar case, right? So it's almost the same condition, but thing is that question slightly varies. The child should be very careful. Looking at some color and some shapes and some structure and all, they should jump into the conclusion. They should not jump into the conclusion that this is the same case. There will be differences. So they have to read the question very carefully while doing the crosses. That's very important. And so the next question is actually question number 19. What's question number 19 for us? During a field trip, one of your friends in the ground suddenly became unwell. She started sneezing and had trouble in breathing. Very difficult question? Not at all a very difficult question. See, name and explain the term associated with such certain responses. What would be the doctor recommended for relief? Well, what would the doctor recommend for relief is a question. Question number 19 is in fact from which chapter? Question number 19. That's from Health and Diseases. Page number 153 has got the answer. Any doubt? No doubt at all. Okay. So page number 153, if we go to health and diseases. So human health and diseases, page number 153 has as such the answer. Shall we check it out? Definitely we should check it out, right? Whether the answer is there or not. Is it easy for the children to appear for the examination and get good marks simply by going through the textbook? Of course, it's very easy if they study the textbook very well. So we are moving to 153 and we are very close to it. So here, 51, 52, and so here, this is page 53. Here is answer. What does it talk about? It talks about allergy. Okay, so this is the answer page. And if you check the answer key, like, where is the answer key? Of course, the marking scheme from the board is also here. If you check the marking scheme, you can see the same lines, same thing there for question number 19. You see allergy and the treatment by the doctors, giving antihistamines and adrenaline and steroids and all. Okay, so this is a marking scheme for the question number 19. Okay, not a difficult question. So we will move on to the next question number 20. What's question number 20? So let's see. Question number 20 is from 11th chapter, Biotechnology, Principles and Processes, and it's there on page number 197. Hey, what's a question? Let's see the question first. So here is a question, 20. What are such sequences called? Okay, so isn't it from biotechnology chapter? Of course. So what's the answer? Let's see the answer to question number 20. The answer, palindromic sequences, and all answers are given here. Okay, now is it a text-based question? Of course, this is also a text-based question where the chapter biotechnology has the answer, page number 197. If we navigate, of course, we will get that answer, right? So biotechnology, again, principles and processes, when we open, you can very well see on page number 197, the answer is there. It's not a joke, the answer is there, right? All of us know 197. Yeah, here. Palindromic sequences, all that answer. The question is framed from this area alone. So the child should be very thorough about this area. And so we will move on to the next question, shall we? That is question number 21. Okay, I think our time, we have to speed up. So question number 21, of course, it is from which chapter? Let's check out from which chapter it is, this question. Not at all a difficult question. Looking at the graph and all, we need not be bewildered because the same thing is in the textbook as such. Okay, and all these questions, subdivisions question A, B, and you see there is an internal choice also, right? A, B. Actually, those choices are from the same area itself, testing the same area in two different ways. So that chapter, let's see from which is question number 21. Question number 21 is from Chapter 14, ecosystem. Which pages? 248, 249, those pages have got those answers. Let's go check it out. Okay, so ecosystem, we'll see there is a chapter, ecosystem. We'll move on to which page? 248 and 49. There are actually lots of pyramids pictures given, right? And so examples are also given. The children, they have to be very, very, very familiar with those pyramids. They have to practice those pyramids very well. And of course, they have to move carefully through those examples also. So page number 248, 247, yeah, ecological pyramids, that's the area. They have to study all these pyramids and our question is framed from this onwards. So from this page onwards, you can see the pyramids, the answers, all these highlighted lines actually are the lines from which the question is framed. Okay, so question number 21, we can very well see here. And of course, this pyramid also. In the previous page, this pyramid is also there. Okay, inverted pyramid. Okay, so we will move on to question number 22. 22. So we have completed section B, right? Moving on to section C. There are 7 questions of section C. Each of them are 3-mark questions. Okay. Most of them are a bit descriptive type. So you can see question 22 this time. There are subdivisions like A, B, C. And so explain the functions of the following structures in the human male reproductive system. Scrotum is given, Leydig cells are given, male accessory glands are there. Okay, so what's the answer point? So in the answer point, see, we can see this is a marking scheme. All those scrotum, Leydig cells, male accessory glands, and it is given 1 into 3, 3 marks. So for each subdivision, there is 1 mark. And of course, from which chapter is this? This is from chapter what? Human reproduction, right? So question number 22 is from the chapter Human Reproduction. Which page has answer? 43 and 44. Okay. So spanning these 2 pages, like from 43 and 44, different paragraphs have got those answers. Due to lack of time, I'm not moving on to the chapter. All of us are very familiar with the chapter, right? And so next question is question number 23. Okay. So what's question number 23? Let's have a look. Question number 23 again. State the agents which helps in pollinating pollinating in the following plants. So there are 3 plants given: cone, water hyacinth, and Vallisneria. It's a 3-mark question. And so where is the answer? Let's find out. The answer point marking scheme. So here comes the marking scheme for question number 23. Again, a textbook question as such. So question number 22 and 23 are direct questions from the textbook. It is as such mentioned in the textbook. Okay, about corn, how it is pollinated, water hyacinth, how it is pollinated, Vallisneria, how it is pollinated. Those answers are as such in the textbook. Now look at the marking scheme. Half into 6, 3 marks. That means for each one, they have to write 2 points each. Now, from which chapter is this? Of course, that is from Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. Which page will give us that answer? Page number 29 will give us the answer. There is no doubt. Okay. So, in fact, actually, all these points are marked and highlighted in the chapters here. But since there is no time to share those chapters, I'm not sharing, but please note down these pages. Of course, all of us know, but still, if we refer this, if we ask the students to find out answers like this from the textbook and mark those question numbers and pages. So they can very well find out. Question number 23 is from chapter 2, Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. Page 29 gives the full answer. Okay. And so we will move on to the next question. What's the next question for us? 24. Identify the polarity of X to X dash in the diagram below. Of course. See, there's a diagram given. Very familiar diagram because the diagram is in the textbook. And mention the codon and anticodon via some untranslated sequences. So this is a question. Question number 24, where is the answer? The answer, let me find out. The answer key. Yeah, here's the answer key, 24. The answer is there. See, lots of half marks. So the child should be careful not to miss any subdivisions of the questions, because here and there it's all half into half, half plus half plus half plus. That is how the answer is. And this also is not a very difficult question, but the child has to think a little bit. Okay. Now this chapter, this actually is from what? This question is actually from the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance that we know. And of course, that question 24, let's find out 24th question. Molecular Basis of Inheritance is from page number 115 and 112. These pages, there the answers are there. So the same figure is there. Definition of untranslated regions are there. And one thing the child has to be, some applications like how many amino acids will be added. Such a question is there, like that area the child has to be careful, like, right? There's a question. How many more amino acids are expected to be added in the polypeptide chain? For that, he has to look through the codons, and you can see that UAA codon, the child has to be asked to carefully read through the codons where UAA, when it is there, that is the next codon to be exposed, and there won't be any amino acids added. So no more amino acids will be added. Some areas of the questions are direct, like untranslated sequences. Some areas the child has to carefully read and understand and think and answer. Okay, so he should know about the stop codons there. Okay, now moving on to 25. How is Hardy-Weinberg's expression derived? List any two factors. A very direct question from the textbook. As such, the answer is there in the textbook, right? So here, 25, answer. See, the whole lines, everything is in the textbook. And it is also again split. The 3 marks are split like half plus half plus half plus half. So the children should be advised not to miss any lines. The factors affecting are also listed. Any two, if they write, it is better always to write more factors, not to stop with 2. So that is also good, because any 2 factors, if they write, they'll get half plus half 1 mark. And from which chapter is it? Of course, it is from the chapter Evolution. Evolution has that area direct. Of course, question number 25. Let's check out question number 25. Question number 25, evolution, is from page number 37. That question is framed. Page number 137. The answer is as such given. Simply they have to by heart. So now let's move on to question number 26. Question number 26. Structural importance of antibody molecule. This question and explain the life cycle of Plasmodium is again a direct question from textbook. Right. So we know from which chapter it is. From which chapter is it? It's from, see, 26 is from Human Health and Diseases. See, chapter Human Health and Diseases. Question number 26. There are 2 questions. You can see the choice there. And these are the pages where you will find the answer as such without any change. 151, 152, 153 will give you the answer to the first question. And 157, 147 and 148 will give you answer to the choice question. So as such, a direct question from the textbook, they have to learn the textbook very well. Okay. And then we are moving on to the next question. What's the next question for us? Oh, sorry. Next question is question number 27. Okay. So this is, of course, the child has to think a little bit, but then it's not a very difficult question. The child who knows the concept can very well answer the question. Okay. So question number 27, from where the chapter is and from where the question is, let's find out. 27 is a question from chapter 11, Biotechnology, Principles and Processes. Page 198 has got that area, the concept on gel electrophoresis. If a child knows, very well about gel electrophoresis, of course, the child will be able to understand. And only thing is that, the child should be, when he compares, he should be very thorough with the concept, like where is the anode and where is the cathode in the figure. Okay, that decides his answer. He should be looking at the diagram carefully, and he should be locating the position of the anode and cathode here. Actually, we know that forms the reason for the first subdivision answer, and the modification also, like what is modified. Okay, so this question based on the concept gel electrophoresis, that we will see the answer. In fact, most of the answer is in this area. Which area? You see, that's chapter 27th question it is, right? Sorry, 27th question it is. It is actually from Biotechnology and Principle, page 198 has the full concept there. And then moving on to 28th question. We'll move on to 28th question. So 28th question is the last question of section C. Again, a very direct question from what? Biodiversity and conservation. Like A and B parts are there. Page, see, question number 28. We know it's from biodiversity and conservation. See, 28, page number 264 and 265 give you the answers. Any doubt? Once in a while, we should check it out, right? So, biodiversity and conservation, if you go for page number 264 and 265, There comes answers. There, 264. You see? There. Yeah, here. This is the first part of the question. These highlighted ones, sample paper 2023, question number 28 begins from here. This forms a answer to the first part, and then causes of biodiversity losses. There are listed in the coming paragraph. So very direct question from the textbook. Nothing to worry. The child has to study very well. Master the textbook. That's enough. Okay. So then we have completed section C and we are moving on to section D, two case-based question. One is a pedigree chart. This pedigree chart, the child has to carefully observe, okay, and he should know the symbols, the carrier male, the affected male, the normal male, all that, and then he has to go through the questions and he has to get the answer. Actually, the pedigree chart, the same one, the similar one is not there in the textbook, but of course, we train pedigree charts very well, and lots of examples they do, and the answer is here. And the pedigree chart, you see, C, option C has got an internal choice also. And so here, this is also actually based on the textbook concept itself, but the child has to practice very well here. Okay. And then moving on to question number 30. What's question number 30? The data shows, this is a second case study. So for whatever are the case studies, the case given, they should read, comprehend very well. Then they should start, answering the question. When they read and understand the case very well, they should correlate it with the concept they have studied also. That's very important. Question number 30. This is again, actually this is based on, see, the first case study is from the chapter what? Principles of inheritance and variation. That's a chapter, right, in genetics. While the second case study is from human health and diseases. Based on the concept in human health and diseases, this is asked. There also a graphical representation is given. Subdivision questions are given. Okay. And so they have to very carefully observe, study the graph and answer the question. So for case study questions, careful reading, careful observation, careful comprehension is very important. So there are two case study questions of 4 marks each. Okay. And of course, as I said, they are from these chapters, based on these chapters. Okay. That is 29th question is based on principles of inheritance and variation. The reference is to page number 88. Okay, based on the concept in page number 88, the case study is framed. And question number 30, human health and diseases. Actually, the reference is there. Actually, most of the answer is in that page itself. We can find out. 160, page number 160. If you refer, you can see so many answers from that area itself. Okay, though it's a case study. And then we are moving on to the last section. The last section is section D, section E with 3 questions of 5 marks. 31st question is a very direct question from the textbook. Okay, there's a choice question. There are 2 questions. Both the answers are directly from the textbook. So from which chapter is it? Let's find out. That is question number 31. The first question is from human reproduction. Page number 51 has as such the answer without any change. The full answer is given there just by heart and write. Then the second, the choice, that's from the another chapter of the same unit, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. That is, it is actually in different pages, like page number 25, 26, 27. When we refer, we will get the answer, but still fully given in the textbook. No problem. The child has to simply master the textbook. Okay, very direct question, but descriptive it is. Now 32. What is question 32? Let's find out which question is 32. 32, there's an mRNA segment given. Some questions are given, step by step A, B. There's a choice question also. That's about lac operon. So both these questions, again, the answer is in the textbook. Well, from which chapter 32? The choice. You see, again, there are choices for these questions. The first question is from molecular basis of inheritance. Where is the answer? Page 110 and 111 has got the answer. Second question is also from the same chapter. Where is the answer? 116 and 117 has got the answer. Fine. Okay, very direct questions, nothing very complicated there. Lac operon, they have to be very careful, that's all. Okay, a little bit of thinking is needed for that question, lac operon. Just think, but then the moment a child who has got the concept clear from the textbook and who has learned the textbook very well, of course will be able to write the answer. And the last question, question number 33, again, you see, that is from Yeah, there's one question. It's a bit application type question. It's actually from biotechnology, a bit linked with environment, right? Oil spills and pseudomonas. Second question is also from biotechnology. It is actually the BT crop plan. Again, for the second question, there is a graphical representation. Okay, but it's simple. Like the moment we start reading once or twice, when the child reads, you will understand such. It's almost like a case study. It's a case study itself, though it's given in actually last section. Okay, so but they should read and interpret the graph, and then they should answer the question. And if the child knows the concept very well, because what is to be focused here is like the pH, like what happens in the alkaline pH and acidic pH, they should be able to correlate like that, the concept. And so from which chapter is it? Of course, the last question is from the chapter Biotechnology Principles and Processes. That's the first chapter, and biotechnology and its application. So page number 203 and 208 will give you almost the kind of answer the child has to think and answer also. Okay. So these are our total number of questions. So, and then, so when we analyze the question paper, we can see, of course, the sample paper is prepared in alignment with the weightage. We can see these questions these are the questions like 1, 2, 13, 17, 20, 22, 23 to 31. All these questions are from the unit reproduction. 16 marks weightage, that is correct. Genetics and evolution, all these questions are from genetics and evolution, 20 marks. And all these questions are from biology and human welfare, 12 marks. And of course, from biotechnology, these are the questions framed for 12 marks. And from ecology, these are the question numbers framed for 10 marks. Okay, so on the whole, what we feel is the question paper is really student friendly, not much of trouble. A child who studies very, very, very well the textbook, that's very important. The textbook from the first line to the last line, the child should really study well. Each and every line, terms, everything is important. The concept has to be very clear. Then attempting such question paper is of no difficulty. It's a very good question paper, not troubling the students very much. Okay, so that finishes. I think we have exceeded the time, but this much was needed for this. And thank you so much for your patient listening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Maya ma'am. It's a wonderful session. Dear participants, if you have any doubts regarding the subject, you can feel free to ask now. I think I seen a question in the chat box regarding pedigree is deleted portion, yes or no? That is the only subject-wise question I seen in the chat box.
Pedigree is not deleted, sir. That's part. That whole chapter is there. It's not deleted.
That's great. Any other questions? Any other doubts? You can feel free to ask, dear participants. Someone unmute and say something regarding the session. 1 or 2 feedback also. Most welcome.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Myself, Rekha. I am a PGT biology teacher working at St. Thomas Public School, Muattabura. And the session was very useful, ma'am. And the way of your presenting is very much clear. And thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the valuable time for explaining this one. And this session will help us to explain the sample paper to the students very well, ma'am. Anyway, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We have to really explain the sample papers to the students. How sample papers are framed and how evaluation is done should be explained to the students so that they'll understand the importance of learning textbook very well and they'll be motivated to go through the textbook, study it very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Another question in the chat box. I think we want to complete all spotting. That is
Spotters, of course, we are supposed to do spotters. We don't have to do anything. It's like just kept for spotting, identification. So normally what do we do is we actually keep them for identification. Students will be taken to the lab, and then when we do the first time identification, we show them one by one the specimens. Okay, and then explain them. And that's the first round of identification. And during second round, we will just keep it. They themselves will identify and write comments wherever needed, or draw diagrams wherever needed. That is how we complete all the spotters. Normally we complete all the spotters because, we don't know like which spotter will be picked up by the external examiner for the practical. Of course, it is the external examiner's choice. So they can pick up any out of this. So it's always good to complete the syllabus for 12th standard, board batches at least.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am. I'm
Good evening.
Hema. Ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am. Nothing doubt. How to score centum in bio, ma'am? I need some tips from. Yes, ma'am.
Centum is like, as far as I know, what the textbook should be completely thorough with. There are children, those who score centum, the papers are like photostat copies of the textbook. For biology, that is how what we have seen. Every line, every word, everything will be dicta of the textbook. Even we wonder how the children learn like that. But usually such children, first of all, concept clarity should be there. That is there. So they should be very thorough with the concept. So when that we do, when we teach, we explain the concepts with lots of different methods. Lots of inputs we give, lots of additional information we give. And of course, the concept will be very clear. The second thing is that line to line, we highlight these lines like this. Line to line, such children will pick it up like photostat. They'll highlight, they'll learn, they'll highlight, they'll learn. And then another thing is, for every paragraph, it's always good to make short questions. Because, biology and all, one paragraph when we pick up, every line has got a concept, right? So ask the children to frame themselves a question for each line. So that is the best way to study the entire textbook. They'll study the whole thing by making, short questions and answering for that short questions. Finally, they'll complete the whole chapter and finally they'll complete the whole book. Then they have to practice a lot of questions. That is there. Like when we go through, this textbook, we can see many years there are repeated areas tested. Okay, so that is also important. Practicing previous year's questions are also very important. I hope that will help now.
Ma'am, another question. Would you please share the PPT for the participants, at least the pages, details and all. That is the question for from the chat box.
Sure, sir.
If the resource person is provide the PPT to me, we the organizers will forward to your registered mail ID. The PPT and PDF, once we receive, will be forwarded to your registered mail ID. So
Okay.
if you are not registered, directly join the Zoom link. The registration link is available. You can register and we will provide the PPT and PDF through your registered mail. Is it okay, ma'am? Is it okay, ma'am?
Sure, sir. I'll share because it's for the students. So we will do the level best. What we can share, it's information, it's knowledge for every student we will share. There is no problem, sir.
Fine. So, ma'am, two more suggestions or comments. Principles of inheritance and variations, only 3 Mendelian diseases stated in the syllabus, but nothing mentioned, deleted or excluded. What to do with the unstated ones?
So this I'll check out and let that person know who is this. I'll check out and definitely I'll revert. Is that okay, sir?
No issue. Spotting or mitotic and mitotic stages, can we use pictures instead of slides?
Spotting is for meiosis. Mitosis, actually, we have to do. That's a core experiment. Slide preparation we have to do. And so that, that the child has to prepare the slide because it can be asked as a slide preparation. There are 2 slide preparations, one pollen germination and mitosis. So mitosis is a compulsory experiment the student has to do. They have to practice and get the stages. That's very important. While meiosis is for spotting. So there, slides are very difficult, that we know. So the images will do definitely. A few images can be given to them, they can practice, and one of those images can be picked up for the examination. Images will very well do for meiosis. For spotting, images, models, anything will do if we don't have the real specimen.
Want to spot 7 spotters for exam? That is another question.
Yes, that's it. Each one carries 1 mark. Okay, so 7 questions are there from spotting. So 7 into 1, 7. That's it.
Okay. Students feel difficult in the CH principles of inheritance and molecular biology. That is one comment.
Yeah, they are the toughest chapters. To some extent, what we can help is, molecular basis of inheritance and all. When we teach, we have to show them a good amount. If we have a DNA model, well and good. Then lots of videos are available, like 3D animations are there. All that will help. Then we can help them by connecting with life situations and all. Like, of course, for just to share an example, when we teach, RNA versus DNA, such concept is there. Like normally, we connect it with elections. Like, there will be, of course, two leaders, two people for elections. You can even pick up from scriptures like Rama versus Ravana, who is the best leader will be, there are certain characters. I mean, there are certain criteria to become a leader, right? Stability, like all those characteristics of DNA by which DNA is winning as a genetic material is the characteristic of a typical leader. So you can pick up leaders from history, leaders from Puranas, or even any two politicians or whatever it is, and then give them. They'll derive, like, give them the criteria. Who wins because of what they win, they'll tell you. And then immediately connect it to the DNA and RNA, why DNA won and why RNA lost. So such things we can do for, they'll remember it. Okay. And normally what we do is like, in genetics transcription, yeah, there is a unit is there, there are 3 genes like structural genes, promoter genes and terminator genes and all. We often compare it as a trinity god, like Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, one for creation, one for sustenance and one for termination. So the genes also function almost like, right? So actually lots of examples we can connect from life, which will make the chapter quite easier. So first of all, animations a lot, models if possible, and then connecting with such examples will do wonders. They'll do it well. Reasonably, most of them will do it well. We know it's a tough chapter, but this is the way it has to be handled, I feel. So if that's the way if it is handled, actually there are lots of examples to be shared, lots of videos and images which we prepare, but there is no time to share all that. Otherwise, we would have shared and seen all that. Okay.
Ma'am, that is a real challenge for the educators. Once the educators are assembled, our discussion is keep going. Now it's about 9 and hardly 2 hours we are spending in the screening space. So we are about to wind up the session as formally. You can send a request to the resource person also. You can, if she's ready, you can feel to interact with her directly through phone or WhatsApp if she permits. That's, we don't mind about that. Ma'am, if possible, you can share, feel to share your phone number through the chat box. Then any doubt, any clarification, the participants can reach you directly. Please, dear participants, please note the number of the resource person, Srimati Maya Anil, Vice Principal, Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Kottayam. So, yeah, fine. Thank you, ma'am. So, yeah, fine. As the participants said, the same wording I am using, it was a wonderful session. So, and it is very informative. That is the word I can use. Very informative. Such a way the teachers should keep more emphasis on NCERT textbook. Nowadays, students are more keen into notebooks or the gates. But my dear teachers, please give maximum emphasis on NCERT textbook. Then you can score maximum marks for the examination point of view. So, my dear teachers, 15th of February, CBSE is commencing examination, and the month of January, practical examination. Few days more. I believe that, we believe that, the organizers believe that this session will make you something different. And tomorrow onwards, you can teach your students according to the experience according to the point shared by the resource person. So special thanks to resource person Srimati Maya Anil, Vice Principal Chinmaya Vidyalaya, and special thanks to your team leader, the Principal Geeta Devi Verma, Chinmaya Vidyalaya Tarathangadi, to provide as a resource person for you to the Center Sahodaya Conflict to organize such kind of webinars. Thanks to your team leader, Geeta ma'am, and thanks to the resource person. Thanks to all the participants, such a vibrant team and interactive team assembled here. Thank you very much. Now the time for wind upping the session. Thanks to all. Thank you very much. Shall we wind up officially?
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
The meeting is over.